Hello friends, welcome back to Five Oaks Farm Stitching. My name is Rachel and this is episode 2 of my Flosstube. Thank you to everybody who watched episode 1 2 weeks ago. I have had the best time reading your comments and your emails, messages on Instagram. I feel like I made 1,000 new best friends. I am so excited about the connection that I now have to this community. I wanted to share that my sweet teenagers were, unbeknownst to me, a little bit nervous about me posting my first video and just what the response would be, just looking out for their mom. And so they were watching anxiously when comments started rolling in to make sure, I think, that they were nice. And they were so excited to read them to me. And my youngest son, who's a freshman, he said, "Mom, the people that craft like you are so nice. They've left the sweetest comments," and they just kept rolling in, and you guys made me feel so good and so welcome. And I just wish I could give all of you a hug. Every single person who reached out. It was just so fun. And so thank you, all of you. I also had a handful of people share my Flosstube either on Instagram or on their YouTube channel. And so I definitely want to give them a shout out because that was so sweet to have the support and to have my first episode shared with all of their subscribers. And so I want to thank Steph at Wild Fox Stitchery, Chris, the Camping Stitcher, Pam and Steph, Just Keep Stitching, Pam at Ditsy Daisy Crafts, and Nicola at Nikki Nat Crafts. So definitely go check them out and watch their channels. They're all wonderful. I watched them over the past 2 weeks and it was really great to have their support. So this chart was framed behind me last week and someone asked if I could show it closer. I did not stitch this. This was stitched by my great aunt in the 80s. Down at the bottom it has her initials in 1989, and this was given to my mother. And when I started cross-stitching, she asked if I would like to display it in my house, which I was so excited because I love that it is something you can put up all year with a little touch of the holidays on it. And so I hang this right by my front door. And it wasn't until I got it home that I even noticed there were little numbers in the bottoms of each month, and all of those numbers seemed familiar. And so my aunt had stitched all of our birthdays into the months that we were born. And I now want to do this myself and put my kids and my husband and my sisters and nieces and nephews' birthdays in a chart to hang next to this. So if you know what this chart is called, or if you know of a chart that is similar, where every month is stitched like this and I could add the dates at the bottom, let me know if you have a suggestion because I would love to do something like this for my family. So last time we were together, I had a handful of finishes and I got them all fully finished and I had a blast. I used up a lot of stuff in my stash, things I'd been collecting over the past year that I thought would be good for finishing cross-stitch projects, and they all worked out, and that was so nice to just use up what I already had. So the first one is Spooky Typography. And when you saw this last time, I didn't have it fully done. The star wasn't there and the little banner was missing because in the original pattern, they have little pieces of felt that were like blanket stitched down. And I was pretty sure I wanted to just cross stitch the banner. So I got that finished and just cross stitched little flags that looked like the felt on the original chart. And then I just put a piece of fabric over some wood from Hobby Lobby. I quilted this fabric so that it would be puffy and stitched behind the words. I do like how that turned out. I will probably be doing that again. And then made a little bow and used my grandmother's button that I had from her collection for that. This is Liberty Street by Plum Pudding Needle Art. And I finished this on a 14 count oatmeal Aida that I think I just got from Hobby Lobby. And this frame is from Hobby Lobby. I had not framed any of my pieces myself before, so I just cut the project down to fit the frame and just set it behind the glass. It's not perfect, but I now have it to put out next summer. I just love this one. This is Happy Fall Acorn by Robin Pickens, and it is finished on a 14 count Aida. I used this little basket to put a piece of foam board with fabric on it, and then another piece of foam board with the actual project on it. And then this is ribbon from Hobby Lobby with little buttons on it. I had some clearance flowers cut up, hot glued them right here with this ribbon and button, and that is gonna be so cute to have out all of fall. So simple, but just adorable. 2 weeks ago when I showed this project, it was finished, but my snowflakes, I had mentioned I didn't really know when I started stitching this how much you need to check your fabric with your floss. And so my snowflakes just blended right into the fabric. And everyone was so nice to make a lot of really great suggestions on how I could make that visible. And I did go ahead and backstitch and then finished it on a piece of foam board with some rickrack, little ribbon and a button. Obviously, I love the ribbon with the button. That's kind of a theme we have going. And then I just made it ready to hang on our Christmas tree. I would love to have a cross-stitch tree one day that's just full of projects that I've made. And I felt so bad last time because I did not have the pattern to show. And this pattern is Santa Trio. So there's 2 other Santas on this. And so I went on a hunt. I did find it so you guys could see it. Waxing Moon Designs. I will eventually stitch all 3 of these, and the hunt for this started out innocently enough. I went into all my binders, which I did not know how many I had. I thought I had 3. Apparently I have 5 binders full of patterns, and I did not find this pattern, but I did pull 6 charts or so that I just could not wait to stitch, and ended up kitting them up and started some of them. I have some of them set aside, ready to go. So all because I went to find this. There was a lot of stitching this week. It was kind of a stitching frenzy, and I had to actually go to my computer and print this again because I couldn't find the original copy that I had printed. So Santa Trio, I'll eventually stitch all of those, and this will go on the Christmas tree this year. I think everybody knows the next finish I'm going to show. It is very popular. I've seen so many people stitch it, and that's why I had to stitch it. I saw Melly Ellie Stitches working on it maybe over a year ago, and then Lenny from the Stable Stitchers, and I just had to have it. It took me a while to get my hands on a copy, but I found one, I think on eBay, and had worked on it over the past year. Sent it to the framer. Love how it turned out. I actually had something framed for my mom with this frame at Hobby Lobby, and knew while I was working on this that when it was finished I was going to get this frame for this piece. And so it was ready, I think, a couple days after my first Flosstube episode. I was so excited to go pick it up, and that fabric is really fun. I'm actually stitching something else Halloween on it now that I'll share with you guys a little bit later. But Midnight Watch, Blackbird Designs. I love it. And I got my initials down there and 2025. So that'll be really special to have. I do have a start and a finish from the past 2 weeks. We took a little road trip to the coast for my son's 18th birthday. I don't know how he's 18. He wanted to go to the beach and do skimboarding and go out to eat and eat seafood. And we had a blast, and I had some stitchy time in the car, and so I stitched Adore Him by Plum Street Samplers. This is actually a free chart. I'm pretty sure I found on their website, and it just says find some fabric and some floss of your choice and stitch it up. And it was pretty quick. The only thing that took any time at all was that tree, and it turned out really cute. I will turn it into an ornament for Christmas. And they had 2010 down here, so I just changed it to 2025. I'm gonna move on to whips. I worked on quite a few things and chose to stick with fall and Halloween for the most part. I set most of my Christmas stitching aside to kind of wait until November to work on those things some more. We decorate really early, and so it won't be long until my house is full of Christmas and I will want to be doing Christmas stitching. So I really wanted to soak up the fall stitching for the next few weeks. I did work a little bit on bits of blue. I showed this last time. I'm doing this as a stitch for my husband and I to put in our bedroom. It will have the year we're married in the middle. I only got a little bit done because honestly, I ran out of thread. So I think I had stopped here last time. I got all of this finished, but then ran out of DMC 367. I'm going to go to the store and grab some today because I do not have much at all left to finish this. I just didn't have any more thread. So I got a little bit done. And after today, I'm sure I'll have it finished in no time. That project is just in this cute little cherry bag. And then I purchased this chart off of eBay. I have been eyeing it for a long time. I really have been wanting to stitch a Lizzie Kate. There's many of these stamps, flip its, monthly, just different seasonal charts that they have that I want to do. So this one popped up and I ordered it. It even has, I don't want to show the chart, but it has the tiny cute buttons that will go on the scarecrow at the end. And so I did start this and just got October and a little bit of the edging done. This is all going to be filled in with yellow. It'll probably stitch really quick and it'll be super cute. I love his little face. And I just pulled floss from my stash. And then if I didn't have it, I just picked what I thought was close. So I didn't buy anything for that. And then there's a little heart bag. The next one that I've been stitching on a little bit was one of the ones I found in my binders when I was hunting for the Santa Trio chart. And when I saw it, I thought I just have to stitch on this in the month of October. And that is Trick or Treat by Twin Peak Primitives. So cute. I love the little trick-or-treaters. I think that is adorable. I am going to follow the lead of Maggie from Homemade on the Ridge. This little guy here, instead of this devil costume, I picked a green. She had done the same thing and changed out one of her Halloween trick-or-treat charts from a little devil costume to a dinosaur. My son was obsessed with dinosaurs when he was little, and so I picked a green, and I'm gonna turn this little one into a dinosaur costume. I did not get a very big start on it, but it is on the same fabric that I used for Midnight Watch. So this is the 18 count Catacombs by Bestitch Me. Got the little words done, started on the house, and I plan to stitch on that for the rest of October for sure. I have that in this little bag. Oh, and I did start a little project this week of labeling my bags. I chose to put the name of the projects, what the fabric is, and when I started it on the tags. So I could easily read that off maybe during Flosstube, but also I do a lot of stitching in the car. My sweet husband drives everywhere we go, and we travel for sports and things like that. So when I want to grab something to stitch in the car, I definitely want to grab like a 14 count instead of an 18 count to work on while we're driving. So that's just an easy way for me to see what's in there and is it something I want to stitch on the go. The next one I did show as a plan last time, and that was Autumn Alphabet, Primrose Cottage. I had done Christmas Alphabet, and that one was a favorite of mine. And I love the blue of this chart. And I got a good start on this. So I've got some of the letters going, started the border and the cute little birds. I love it. It's going to stitch up so quick. I'll probably finish it similar to the way I finished the Christmas Alphabet. This is a fun one. I had started this next project the last time that we were together, but it was so tiny that I didn't share it. And this is another free chart. So this is Count Your Pumpkins by Kitty and Me Designs. This one did have a little photo, so I can show that. It is a free chart, so you can go grab it for yourself and print it. And it says, count your pumpkins while they last, for soon their time will come to pass. The winter winds are sure to blow, turning autumn fields white as snow. And I just loved the little purple border and all the little pumpkins. So I have that going on a 14 count Aida, I think from Hobby Lobby. And I just love the purple. I'm excited to get to the words. Maybe some people don't love stitching words, but I love stitching words and letters. So I'll get to that once I finish the border. So Kitty and Me Designs, Count Your Pumpkins. I'll try to put all the charts that we've talked about in the description, and then you can easily go find the free charts if you would like to get some too. I worked a little bit on Faith Fall at Pansy Patch Manor. This is Pansy Patch Quilts and Stitchery. I showed this last time. I had only gotten to, I had done the house and the wagon and the sign, and I had talked about how excited I was to get to these. And so I was like, I'm gonna get the letters in so I can start going off the sides and doing these look like little quilt block stars. I was excited to get to those. I was even more excited because they have called for floss, and I chose to use the DMC. And it does say on the chart, if you use the DMC, it's not going to look the same as their example photo. And I do love it. I have no regrets on using the DMC, but when I just had this done, it was very dark. So I'm excited that once I started moving over here and I got into other colors, it's starting to lighten it up a little bit. And I think once it's all finished, it will not be as a heavy and dark piece as I was kind of worried about. I love that yellow and purple. And there's some pink coming. So I definitely will probably get all of this side done with all those little stitchy star blocks pretty quick, because they are making me excited, even more excited about that chart. Another one I started because I found things was these spooky cute ornaments. And this is by It's So Emma. And I am going to stitch the witch boots, the pumpkin, the hat, the little black cat, and the ghost for sure. Those will be the ones. Oh, and then probably this trick or treat. I could do all of them. I think I have enough fabric to do all of them, but I only got started on these little guys. So I started with the little witch's boots, and I am doing it's stitched, the background is just stitched in a circle with this cream color. And so I will do that for all of them. This is a 16 count Aida cold foam from Bestitch Me, and it's really pretty. I can do as many of those little ornaments on here as I want, because it's a pretty big piece. So I love that color for these. And those are not the called for colors. I did just pick oranges and pinks from my stash that I liked. So I don't know how many I'll get done this year, but those will be cute. I would like to have a little Halloween tree. I have a small tree that I put my grandmother's precious moment ornaments on, and I was thinking I could pull it out and start collecting these little Halloween precious moments and then fill in with cross stitch ornaments around it, because they don't have as many of these. There's maybe like 8 or 10 of these ornaments made by Precious Moments, and then I could fill it in with little cross stitch projects. This one I loved working on, Let's Go Trick or Treating by Teresa Kogut. I started down here at the bottom of her skirt, and then I was just gonna work my way up. And it's actually really fun to stitch those checkers. So I got a decent ways up. This is on 16 count sand dollar Ada from Bestitch Me. And so I've got just this much to go on the first page that I'm working on. And this is her little pumpkin trick or treat bucket that I started. This is really fun. I am going to enjoy stitching this entire chart. And I do have that in the pumpkin bag I shared last time, my bag that gave me grief. I did finish it. I am a hand stitch binder. Absolutely, 100%. I love how stitching, binding down on quilts and bags, I love how it looks by hand. It's so clean and neat. But this one I had already just had such a hard time with. I stitched down the binding with my machine and it's holding my project. It's looking just fine. Have my little tag on it. So it turned out great. The last one I have in my whip pile is not Halloween, but another one that I found, and I could not help but start because I had the perfect fabric for it and I knew I would want something new and exciting in my pile for when I did start stitching Christmas. And so this is Delivering Christmas. This is by Hello from Liz Matthews. I love this. I was in her Patreon. And this was maybe last year. This was one that we got. I could be wrong about that, but it is Hello from Liz Matthews, Delivering Christmas. And so I just got a small start on this Santa's jacket down into the snow. This is a 16 count Ada vintage from Bestitch Me. And so it has little darker, I like these little darker bits through his coat jacket. He's pretty small. Santa's gonna be stitched pretty quickly. That tree, on the other hand, is gonna take some time, but I love how it has all the little bits in there that are different, and then the snow falling from the tree as he's walking. So I had to start that. That one's going for Christmas. I'm sure I won't finish it this year, but I'll have fun stitching it. For plans, I do have one more chart that I pulled when I saw it. I wanted to start it, and that is Pumpkins for Sale. This is by Stitches Through the Years. A little small that seemed fun to stitch in the fall. I bought all the floss for it. I'm just using DMC, but I don't have a fabric yet. So I can't get started quite yet, but as soon as I find the fabric I want to use, I will probably start that one. And then I follow Monica Stitching, monicas.stitching on Instagram. This is her pattern. It's called Pumpkin Patch Prom Pick. And she has it stitched up very beautifully on a blue fabric with cream thread. But I knew this was going to work perfectly for something I had been wanting to do. I have this 14 count all lit up by Bestitch Me, and I've been waiting to find a chart that I could stitch just in all black on this and just have a really awesome Halloween project going. And this is perfect. I'm going to use DMC 310 and stitch these cute pumpkin people on this fabric. So y'all should go check that out. It's brand new, I'm pretty sure. She just shared it the other day and I bought it off of Etsy. I have a few things from my haul to show you all. Some of them are not here yet, some things that I ordered. Thank you to everyone who referred me to Stitches in Time. I ordered 3 Judith Kirby charts. I got house number 9 and house number 15. Those were the 2 Halloween charts that I wanted so badly. Thank you to everyone who gave me that tip. They were so kind. I called them over the phone and my charts should be in the mail soon. I did also order house number 13, which is a Christmas house that can go along with the house that I'm working on, which is house number 8. So I'll have 2 Victorian houses that are Christmas and 2 that are Halloween. And I am so grateful for all of the information that you guys shared. The other thing that I did get, I printed my Teresa Kogut Patreon charts for the month of October. So she did Milo's Pumpkin, Acorns in Autumn, and Creekside Farm. Out of all these, I'll probably do this one first. And I'm in, I think it's tier 4 of her Patreon, so I get 3 charts on the 1st of every month. I love when it's seasonal. So October, we had Halloween charts. Now we were getting our September, we got Halloween charts. October, you get your Thanksgiving kind of themed charts. And then November, I'm sure there'll be Christmas. So that will be exciting. And then these aren't exactly Stitchy haul, but I did buy these bags of little charms to make zipper pulls for my bags. One of the channels that was suggested to me to watch was Unfinished Stitches. I absolutely adored them. It's a mother-daughter duo. They remind me a lot of myself and my daughter. We do everything together. We love to organize together. We've made our Halloween movie watch list over the past week. We are a lot like them as far as doing different stuff together and just crafty and organizing and having plans and creating things. So I loved watching them. I watched many episodes. They have a lot of really good tutorials on how they make their zipper pulls, how they do their floss rings, how they organize their projects for the month. So that was really fun and very motivating to watch. And so now I'm gonna attempt to make some zipper pulls for the bags that I make, and you guys should definitely go check them out. And then the last thing I did, I had kitted up so many things and been stitching on so many things that I used up all of my fabric. And so I am back in Bestitch Me's Club for neutrals, and I think I chose to be on 16 count. So 16 count neutrals, so I'll get a really cool piece of fabric coming once a month now. I've made quite a few project bags over the past 2 weeks. I have all of them listed in my Etsy shop, so I wanted to show them to you guys. One of them sold since I posted it and came to shoot this video, so I'll tell you which one that is. But I made a smaller bag for those smaller projects that really don't need a giant bag. So I think this one is 10 by 12. And then the rest of them are 12 by 14. And this fabric is called Farmstead. They're all Moda fabric charm packs pieced on the front. I quilt sometimes a fabric from that line on the back, other times just something from my stash that's complimentary. Little tag to hold your, or little ribbon to hold your tag. And then I do put a magnet right here in this square on all my bags so that you can just drop your needle here when you're working. So that one is Farmstead. This is Denim and Daisies. I love the blue on the back of this one. I have more of this probably to make a quilt. I am not going to attempt to say the name of this fabric line, but I know it's from French General. This is the bag that already sold. So this one will be going to a new home today in the mail. I love their fabrics. This quilt behind me has a lot of their fabrics in it that I cut up in a mix mash of a lot of different things, but there's a lot of French General in there. This one is Flirt, Sweet by Sweetwater, Moda Fabrics. Added the little patch down here that I talked about last time. And then Rosemary Cottage. I know this is a popular line. Quilted on the back and made a scrappy binding of all of the fabrics. So those are all in my Etsy shop if you are interested in a project bag. It's really hard to make these and then sell them and not keep them for myself. Somebody did ask if I would be willing to do a tutorial on how I make my project bags, and I would love to do that so that you too can be addicted to making them like I am. So I will be working on that, and I'll get that to you guys as soon as I can. I wanted to mention that I have been watching a few other people this week. I found Leslie at A Nurse and Her Needle. I now have many charts in my Etsy cart because of her videos. I watched a couple of them and really enjoyed them. And then also Crystal at PNW Crafter. She is very talented at many things, and I've enjoyed watching her and then seeing her Instagram as well. While going through all my binders, I did stumble across a few patterns that I had double purchased. And so I had two brand new copies of two patterns. One of them was By the Chimney by Country Cottage Needleworks. This is one that I definitely want to stitch this year. And then the other one that I had two of was Adorables Fall. And so I would love to do a giveaway and send these to whoever is selected. And the way I guess we will do this is if you will just leave a comment and put chimney if you're interested in the little Christmas chart, if you're interested in winning this, or fall if you're interested in the Adorables fall pattern. I'm so excited to pass those on to two of you because I had doubles, and I'm excited to share them with all of you who are watching and supporting my channel. So leave a comment and pop those words in there. Chimney if you want the Christmas one, fall if you want the other one. You can be entered in both, and I'll draw them, and then next time I'll let you know and then ask you to send me an email so I can get those out to you. Thank you all for joining me today. I am so glad that you came back for episode 2. I am thankful to be a part of this community and to be making all these new friends. I will probably post a quilt video next. A lot of you asked if I would show my quilts, and I think I'll do that in a separate video and just kind of keep a video log of cross stitch and Flosstube, and then a separate one for quilting and maybe some other stuff around the farm. We'll see how it all goes. I'm so glad that we got to spend this time together, and I hope you have a lot of great stitchy time over the next 2 weeks. I'll see you next time.